Okay, so if I'm going to be entirely honest, this is a video that I've wanted to make for a very long time. But at the same time, I'm not even sure I should make it. The first time that I had to cut out what I'm about to say out of a video was back when I played Baltisque with Absolutely Airdroppable, and that was 6 or 7 months ago. So, and I know the title says Rant, but I'm not going to start raving and shouting for the next 45 minutes. Or at least that's not the plan. I can't think of a better word to use. Anyway, I might as well get right into it. So, ever since the anniversary update came out, and this is not a problem, like, this problem has persisted long before the anniversary update. But ever since the anniversary update came out, I have seen a lot of people who are criticizing the game, but they're doing it in a very mean-spirited way. Now, don't get me wrong. If you like something, then yeah, I understand why you'd want to criticize it. But criticism needs to be constructive. Okay. I'm the kind of person who will criticize something mercilessly, specifically because I like it and I want to see it made better. So I understand people wanting to criticize the game to see it being made better. I understand that. That's perfectly fine in my opinion. The problem is that there's people, and again, this isn't something that is new or that's only happened since the anniversary update. This is something that has plagued the game and its community since even before the game launched. But people will criticize it in a very, very mean-spirited way. And there's no point to it. There's no reason for it. Okay? And I understand if you want to see something, like, I understand, and if you want to see the game get better, or if you want to see, like, if there's something that you think is overpowered and you think needs to be addressed. I understand people bringing these things up. But there is a distinction between bringing attention to something and just criticizing. It's not even criticizing, it's almost cyberbullying, really. It makes no sense at all. None. And really, it's come to a head with the anniversary update, and people going like, "Oh, why didn't they take this from the PTE and put it on live? Oh, they suck. Oh, blah 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 blah. Oh, this sucks. So I'm going to go give it a negative review on Steam, or they need to fire this guy." And I'm going to come back to that last one. But and you know, I understand why you might be complaining. Heck, I've got an entire laundry list of things I would love to see from the PTE come to life. I'm probably going to make a video about it here in the upcoming week. But just hang on. I understand why you want to criticize it. Like, I understand you going, "Oh, I think this would have been better." Okay. This right here is something I do not understand. And look, I've got 740 odd hours in this game. Okay. I have a lot. I have put a lot of time in this game in the last 13 months. But at no point have I ever felt like I should leave a bad review for the game. Particularly after they have made some sort of balance change that did not sit well with me. And they have. Many times. When they made the Slam Rammer Shorad system. Back in update 1.0.10. When they made... Actually, no, I think that was in update 1.0.11. When they moved around the Patriots. And they gave the Pac-2 to Marine Corps, which makes no sense because A, the Marine Corps doesn't use Pac-2, the Pac-2 Patriot, or any variant of the Patriot for that matter. And well, these aren't Patriot variants, it's just different missiles. Anyway. It like, you've got that, you've got the Slam Ram, you've got the increase in price for the add-on armor kits for things like the AMPV, or I say add-on armor kits. I think for the AMPV it was with the 30mm with the Bushmaster, or the 30mm with the Javelin specifically. But things like that for the AMPV, the Striker RV, the Striker M-Shorad, I don't necessarily think those were necessary. Or in the more recent update, nerfing the frontal armor on the Booker. I mean, like, I think the Booker needed a nerf. Like, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that the Booker needed a nerf. But I think they went a little bit too far with the frontal armor on the Booker. And just in case any Russian fanboy wants to say, oh, he's only talking about changes that affected the US. One of the changes that I think that that never made sense to me was taking the Guards Sturmoviki out of the Guards specialization. I don't understand why they did that. Just like I don't understand why they did a majority of those changes. Well, I mean, I understand some of them, but I don't agree with them. But even then, I don't understand, and I do mean to use the word understand, why they took the Guard Sturmoviki out of the Guard specialization. But because they have made those changes, like, it's not something I'm going to go on the Discord over and say that the game is ruined or that the developers are bad at their job or anything like that, or review bomb the game over it. Look, I have put 740 hours into this game in the last 13 months. And the reason why is because this is legitimately one of the funnest games I have ever played. And I'm going to support this game for as long as it exists. And I honestly don't think there is anything that the developers can do that's going to make me change that stance. And, you know, there's a lot of people who probably went, oh, I'm just going to leave a temporary negative review because they screwed this up. But when it gets fixed, I'll come back and I'll change it. Are you really going to do that? Are you sure? Okay, so we know that there's another update coming later this month. That's fine. Now, let's just assume that the next update does the statistically impossible, and it makes the game, and it changes the game so that everyone can enjoy it. It makes it something that everyone can enjoy, which is a statistical impossibility. And if you don't believe me, look at Hollywood for the last 10 years. But let's just say that somehow it happens. Great. They fixed all the problems. Now, how many people do you think are actually going to go back and adjust their negative reviews? Some might. In fact, some will. I think that is a pretty safe bet to say. But some people won't. I mean, heck, there's a decent chance a majority of them won't, for some reason or another. And that is going to act like a stain on any of the game's potential growth. Because if you take Joe the Bricklayer, who just wants to play a strategy game, so he goes scrolling through Steam, he sees this game, oh, it looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. He looks at the reviews and he's like, oh, okay, well, like, they're mixed at best, and there's a lot of negative reviews in here. It's going to put him off. And so he's probably going to pass it up. And that, if that happens enough, is going to kill the game. A game that, I'm going to be blunt here, does not deserve it. And look, I'm going to be entirely honest. I don't know exactly who Felix is. Okay? I don't know. And I've never tried to find out, because I never particularly thought it mattered to me. I know that he's one of the developers. I think he might be a manager. Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure the guy's French. I don't even know that, to be honest, though. But I do not, for the life of me, understand why people want to see the man fired. And it makes no sense calling for anyone, to be fired because of a change made to a video game. I don't know how many people have actually thought about this, but what you are asking for is for someone to lose their livelihood because they have made changes to lines of code in a computer. Do you realize how narcissistic that makes you sound? And again, it's not just the anniversary update. There's all kinds of balance changes that have come out since the game was released, heck, even before the game's release, although it wasn't necessarily the balance changes just before then. People have been criticizing the game for something or another since before the game's release. Things like, again, balance changes, or calling for someone to be fired for some frickin' reason. That post-dates the game's release. But when it comes to balance changes in particular, I'm going to be brutally honest on this subject. Your opinion does not matter. My opinion does not matter. I mean, I already said that I think they went a little bit too far with nerfing the Booker. I think they went a little bit too far with buffing the reload time on the T14. Guess what? My opinion doesn't matter. I mean, heck, they may nerf the Booker even further. They may decide that the T14 is underperforming, so they're going to turn the 125mm 2A82 gun on it into an autocannon without changing any of the other stats. And guess what? What I think of it doesn't matter. You might think that the Striker RV is overpowered. as I have seen at least one person complain on the Discord. That doesn't matter. You might think that the SU-57 deserves to have a higher stealth value than the F-22. And yes, I have seen people calling for that on the Discord, even though I can see the bottom third of the compressor blades on the jet engine. Guess what? Your opinion does not matter. What matters is the tools that the development team has, the information that they can gather, and the game data that they do gather to judge a unit's effectiveness. That's what matters. Okay. I think, personally, that they should give the TUA sneak, like they gave the Resvedchik. Oh, like they gave the Resvedchik sneak. But my opinion doesn't matter. I mean, heck, they may look at the TUA and decide that it's overperforming, that they need to nerf it somehow. I think it would be a good idea to give. The recon tanks maybe a small 2-charge APS to give them that little bit extra staying power in a fight. My opinion does not matter. One of the balance changes I would like to see carry, or I say balance changes. One of the changes I would like to see carry over from the PTE is the price reduction for air-to-air weapons on planes. My opinion does not matter. It doesn't matter if you want to see a balance change made in one way or the other. It does not matter if you are the most hardcore Russian fanboy and you want to see everything in the US nerfed into just being wet paper. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are the most hardcore freeaboo who wants to see the game, who wants to see realistic gameplay where the US steamrolls Russia 90% of the time. It doesn't matter. What matters is what the tools that the development team have saying what is and isn't performing. That's what matters. So getting your underwear in a knot because they should change this, or they should fix that, or they should rebalance this, it doesn't help. It just doesn't help. It does nothing. It does nothing. So I don't understand why people do that. And if I'm going to be entirely honest, part of me thinks that some people do it purely just to be malicious. And honestly, if that's the case, then this video is completely pointless. And I don't expect this video to get like super popular or to make the rounds. And I'm not doing any of this because I want people to think that I'm stunning and brave for forwarding an unpopular opinion or some other crap. I do not understand why people do it. And, you know, if I'm going to be entirely honest, to go back to what I said at the start of this video, I understand criticism. I understand why you'd want to criticize something. I'm the kind of person who will relentlessly criticize something because I like it. And I want to see it made better. And, you know, some of the complaints I genuinely agree with. Like people complaining that the developers do not communicate with their player base enough. I genuinely agree with that. Like, honestly, if the budget is there, hire a couple of guys specifically to communicate with the player base. I mean, heck, Edmund, one of the moderators on the Discord, I've personally interacted with the guy. He's a pretty nice guy. I don't know, maybe like hire him on if you haven't already. And another thing to remember about the development team, we're not talking about a AAA developer here. Okay, this is not a AAA game studio, and if I'm going to be entirely honest, I am thankful for that. Because imagine what this game would be like if it was developed by EA. We would have 15 DLCs full of overpowered units, paid DLCs full of overpowered units by now. Like the DLC would probably be for our single unit too. But this is a small development team. When this game's development started, the team consisted of a single-digit number of people, and I think that the size of the development team has grown. I mean, almost certainly has grown. I think it's several dozen now. But we're still talking about a small development team. And just because you don't actively see things going on does not mean that there's not things going. Isn't things going on behind the scenes. Like in the anniversary update, there's a line where they talk about stress. I'm not sure where it is, but there's a line in here where they talk about stress, unit stress. Where is it? And I'm going to use this as an example. It's in ground combat, I believe. I think I passed it. But there's a comment in here where they talk about stress. And it says that that prior to that I think it was aim time values for stress was here we go. Previously, the modifiers were shared between every unit type. We can now define independent modifiers for vehicles, infantry, and planes, allowing us to assign more adaptive values to each unit type. Building the necessary architecture to do that is something that the player base will never see. And yet it's something that needs to be done in order to actually properly make changes to the game. So, yeah, I can criticize the developers for not communicating with the player base enough, and I think those criticisms are valid. But you have to make a distinction, I say a distinction. You have to understand that just because they aren't communicating doesn't mean they aren't doing anything. And like I said, this is a small development team. They can't do everything all at once. And jumping all over them on some social media or the Discord for this, that, and the other, it does not help in any way. It just doesn't. You aren't going to get them to change their minds or to do something differently by doing that. The only thing you're going to do is get your post deleted by a moderator. As you should. Or as it should. So I don't understand. I don't understand it. It's not going to help anybody. I honestly think some people just do it to feed their ego. And I mean, if that's what they're doing, then this video is pointless. But just stop. Just stop. Okay. And if you see people, or I say if you see people, I've seen people go, oh, this game's ruined now, this game sucks, I'm uninstalling. And you wanna know what I think every time I see someone write a post like that? I think, alright, goodbye, hope the door doesn't hit you on the way out. Because, okay, yeah, sure, you might have a problem with it. It might not be fun for you anymore. Maybe you want to uninstall it and just forget about it. That's fine. Cool. But there's thousands, tens of thousands, heck, probably even hundreds of thousands of people who still enjoy this game just as much as I do. And they're going to keep playing it, regardless of what you think. So just see ya. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's all I gotta say. And honestly, for all the people complaining about different balance changes, and again, I've complained about different balance changes. Heck, I've done it in this video. But for all the people complaining about, oh, they should change this, they should rework that, they should take XYZ from the PTE and put it in the base game. You know, if I'm going to be entirely honest, and I do not mean this sarcastically, I mean this entirely, 100% seriously, make your own video game. Make your own game. Heck, if you do make your own game, it might actually become popular. I mean, we have gotten to the point of technological progression where making a video game isn't necessarily hard. Like, sure, it's time consuming, and it's probably going to take a while. I mean, I'd like to point out the game, this game started development in late 2019 or early 2020, if I'm not mistaken, and it did not actually go live until mid-2025. So it's probably going to take a while. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's hard. So just make your own video game. And who knows? If you actually put the time and effort to make the video game, and people like it, it can become popular. And like, if you do make your own video game, and you do become a competitor Broken Arrow, then great. Because if there's a competitor to it, then that just means that the people who benefit are the players. Because the games are going to have to keep adapting to remain competitive. And the only one who's going to benefit from that is the players. Well, that's not the only. Well, it's not the only one who's going to benefit. Who's going to benefit from that? But still, if you don't like the balance in this game, go make your own. I am 100% genuine when I say that. Anyway, I do not understand why people will go on the Discord or other forms of social media and just be so mean-spirited towards the game. It did nothing wrong. It did nothing to you, and it did nothing to earn your ire. So, and if you think that it did do something to earn your ire, then if I'm going to be entirely brutally honest, if I were you, I would re-examine my priorities here. Because if you are so taken aback by a change made to a video game that you feel that members of the development team need to lose their livelihood over it, look, I'm going to be entirely honest. I think you need to reevaluate your priorities here. Because that's pretty messed up. That is pretty messed up. Anyway.